PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita games are expiring. Well, they don't actually expire, Sony just makes them unplayable. Some people are saying that they can still play Chrono Cross and Final Fantasy VI because these are the main games that are expiring, but this doesn't mean that this will not change in the future. I mean, last year Sony already said that they want to close their digital stores for PlayStation 3, PlayStation Portable and PlayStation Vita. Just because they didn't do it then doesn't mean they will not do it in the future. And apparently they started. And I know you may say, well, apparently Square Enix is doing this. Well, Square Enix has a contract with Sony, so I think both wanted to make more money out of this. Sony will release their new subscriptions soon. And like I said, it's cheaper to buy a PlayStation 3 and old games instead of buying the PlayStation Plus Premium that's $18 per month. So you pay $18 monthly to be able to play a game that you can have for life for under $10. So in case PlayStation didn't brainwash you, there is no way for you to be that stupid to pay so much money for a subscription. So let's say you are that stupid. It's a subscription. What if Sony decides that your game should no longer be available? If Sony really cared about the consumers, they should have said, okay, you have 1 year or 6 months or even 1 month to download your games on the hardware because we are closing the shop. But let's be real, Sony is not doing this because it's very expensive to have the PlayStation 3 or PlayStation Vita shops open and servers. They already tax you for online. They take 30% of the sales. So the real reason they want to do this is because they want more money. They don't want you to own your games. And again, I still see a lot of people saying, oh, but you don't actually own your games. And I will say, how? I still have my old games on a disc. What can Sony do about it? Come to my house and take the disc? This is why I usually avoid to buy digital stuff. It should be a law that protects the consumer. The corporations should be forced to announce 1 year in advance that they will delete a digital good. And as long as that game is not multiplayer, I should be able to download that game and play it offline. Okay, so the most logical thing to do here is not buy a subscription, is to use the pirate. And I still don't understand how some people can be this stupid. And I'm talking about the ones who try to protect the corporations. Saying, oh, of course they want you to buy a subscription, they want more money, it's perfectly normal, it's a corporation, it can do whatever it wants. Why always the corporation can do whatever it wants? Why it's always okay for a corporation to do very bad things, but it's okay because they want more money. But when a normal person wants a bigger salary, a good product and a good price for that product, or because they want to pirate a game because that game is impossible to find, or there's no option to buy it, only to rent it, that's not okay, only corporations can do that stuff. How dare a normal person want more? How can you be so greedy? So the customers who want to own their games at a good price are the bad ones. But the good guys are the corporations who intentionally delete their games just so you can buy their subscription. They're very, very expensive subscriptions. And if they decide to delete a game, too bad. You must play whatever they want, not what you want. So what I'm saying is that if corporations can do so many scummy things and it's legal, why isn't legal for people to pirate the things that it's no longer available? Or the uncensored version? Why we always care more about the corporations and not the consumer? The only comments that I found that are trying to defend this issue is somebody saying that it's not like your physical disc or cards will last forever, but they are predicted to last between 20 or 100 years. Blu-rays are even better, so they will last even longer. Also, you can save them on your hard drive, you can make copies of it, and by that time you will have an emulator that can play those games. The only issues that I can say about a disc is that you still need updates. For example, if a game was launched with a lot of issues, let's say Days Gone, you will still need the update of 40 gigabytes that will fix the issues. So buying a game on a disc is not always the best option. making games DRM free and playable offline is being able to download any game that I want and playing it offline, and also being able to save that game on my hard disk should be an option. The best option was from CD Projekt Red. I got the disc with the game and a digital code that let me download the game from the internet. It's less expensive for them to sell us digital games. But many times I still see that the disc is the same price as the digital store price. And how is that fair? For the digital ones, you give me a license that can expire anytime. The download is usually very slow, and I must connect to the internet to be able to play it. Let's say I go to a friend and I want to play a game. Or I go with my console in some places that doesn't have internet. My point is that digital games should be cheaper, especially when a console forces me to pay for online. And in the last years, instead of seeing Sony improving this, they instead give us more expensive games, games that are full of bugs, censorship, a new console that you must buy overpriced from the scalpers, and some very shitty subscriptions. So even this was an error and nothing will happen. Sony already said 1 year ago that they are planning to close the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita store. So in the future this will happen, no matter how many people will say it will not. Because they will want you to buy the subscription instead of buying the old games. Because again, like I said, you will end up replaying those old games. Somebody on Reddit said,
"It's great all of you kept your giant collection of old ass games, but I no longer have my PlayStation 1, PlayStation 4 stuff, so this is great for me."
And also he added,
"Imagine thinking $60 a year for access to 700 games as garbage. Lord, I couldn't be me."
first of all, you can still buy old consoles. And it's not that hard to jailbreak them. You also can buy consoles that are already modded. And you also can find a lot of people selling old games on the internet. And you say you pay $60 a year to play 700 games. Well, actually you pay $18 for $120 a year if you pay in advance and you want the discount. Anyway, you will not play those 700 games. You will most likely play 5 games a year at most, and only Sony will decide what games will be available or not. And I'm pretty sure if you have a subscription, you will not be able to play those games offline. And not all people will care to play the latest games. So many times you will end up playing some old games. For example, I started playing Yakuza because I never got to play Yakuza. And it was very cheap to buy all the Yakuza games. And also it took me a long time to finish all the games. So I think I paid under $60 to have all the Yakuza games. And I still own them and I can replay them anytime, versus if I paid for a subscription and for some reason I have problems with the internet, I don't have money for a subscription this year, or if Sony decides that Yakuza will no longer be available for the subscription, is nothing I can do about it. But because I own my game, I can play it whenever I want. You know why I hate the subscription? Because I used to have a PlayStation Network subscription. I skipped the PlayStation 3, and when I bought the PlayStation 4, there was a lot of games that I didn't own. And I saw that sometimes the PlayStation Network gives me some new games that I wanted to try. So I said, why not? It's not that expensive, so I will try the subscription until I buy some games. And after 1 year, I already had all the games that I want, and I didn't play a lot of games on the PlayStation Network subscription. And now that I didn't continue to pay for my subscription, I still have a lot of games that I never played, and I still can play them unless I pay for the subscription again. But the games that I bought, I still have them and I can replay them. And I usually do replay them. And I can sell the ones that I don't like to buy other games. For example, I bought Nioh digitally and I don't like it, and it just stays there. If I had it on a disc, I could sell it. And instead I can buy something that I like. And that's the difference. With the subscription I have nothing. I didn't pay for it anymore and now I have nothing. Sure, I can start paying for it again and maybe I will end up playing 1 or 2 games. But like I said, the games that I own, I can play it for free. And I only had to pay for them 1 time. And I can play it offline. And you can say that my games cost more than the subscription, but I have the games that I love, I can replay them anytime for free, and the discs will not expire in my lifetime. But I'm pretty sure Sony will delete and will change stuff. What if they decide that the game that you like is problematic? If you have it on a disc, it doesn't matter. If you pay a subscription, it matters. Look at Rockstar what they did with the Grand Theft Auto trilogy. So you can see if you have a game that you like, they can decide that they will remaster or remake that game and they will delete the original. But the only reason that I think a subscription is good is if you don't have any games and you want to find out what games you like. So you pay for 1 month, you try out all the games that you can, and then you go and buy them. Because in time you will find out that you like a few games and you will want to replay them. Anyway, this is why a lot of people are mad. The PlayStation 3 is not that old. And last year Sony already said they want to delete the stores. And basically you will not be able to play your games anymore. But somehow you can play those games with a PlayStation subscription. I don't think it's impossible or too hard to move all the data from the PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vita to the PlayStation 5. So the people who own those games to be able to play it. Or why do you have to force people to buy a subscription? Clearly you can give them all the games, so why not give them the option to buy them? Because like I said, it's almost 1 year since I didn't buy anything from Sony, and I'm still playing and replaying the games that I own. Meanwhile, when I had the subscription, I always had to give them money, even if now I don't have anything. I'm not even able to access my cloud to download my saved games. We paid for so many things on these shitty consoles. Many games are even downgraded to be able to play on the console, but they still don't offer customers basic support, or at least good options to be able to keep your games. I mean, the only option is owning the game on the disc. But the only way I can play a PlayStation 2 or a PlayStation 3 game on a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 console is when somebody will jailbreak that console. I didn't support the consoles for a long time because of the censorship. Then I started playing the PlayStation 4 because I didn't saw a lot of issues. And almost 1 year after that, Sony started saying that they support me too, they will start to banning more games, censorship, blah blah blah. So yeah, they decide to be more anti-consumer. They want to delete more, they want to censorship more. So why would I want to support that? Why would I want a subscription and not own my games? Why would I want to give more money to a console that not only they want me to pay for a subscription, they also want me to pay for online, they also want to ban my games, they also want to censorship my games even from development, and they want to force me to rebuy the games that I already own on my old consoles. Well, they actually want me to pay for a subscription, not own my games. I mean, rebuy my games. So my question is, why do you still support Sony? Why do you still defend Sony? And why do you still trust Sony? I think they should start giving the consumer what she or he wants. Because for now, they just try to delete your options.